Welcome to the latest edition of the Stephen A. Smith Show on ESPN Radio, coming at you as I love to do every weekday afternoon right here over the airwaves of 98.7 FM, ESPN New York, 710 ESPN LA, and of course, Sirius XM, ESPN Radio, Channel 80. The number to call up as always is 866-729-ESPN. That's 866-729-3776. Coming at you live from Radio Row in Houston, Texas. Home for Super Bowl 51. Home of the Texas Medical Center. Home of the world's largest medical center. Home of innovating solutions to improve the health of humanity. Lots of stuff to get into today, no question about it. First and foremost on our minds is Super Bowl 51, the Atlanta Falcons going up against the New England Patriots. I will get into LeBron James and Charles Barkley going at it. Don't you worry, I'll definitely be touching on that because there's a lot to say about that. But since we are on Radio Row, coming at you live from Radio Row in Houston, let's get right into the Super Bowl. I am very concerned, and this is a good thing. Because the concern that I have is about who's going to win this game, not whether or not it's going to be a blowout. I'm not worried about a blowout this time. I know that Atlanta got a high-powered offense. I know the New England Patriots have Tom Brady. I know that Chris Hogan has been made to look like the second coming of Jerry Rice, for crying out loud, or Julio Jones, since they had identical statistics in their conference championship games, respectively. But when I look at the Atlanta Falcons, it is time that we start asking ourselves legitimately. Stop playing around. Now that we've had a week to study, now that we've had a week to soak all of this up, now that we've had a week to contemplate exactly what's going to transpire, what is going down, and what we are going to do, now that we have a week for all of that, here's a simple question. Is it time to recognize the Atlanta Falcons as the serious threat that they appear to be? I wasn't willing to give that to them, to be quite honest with you. I didn't care about the fact that they beat the Seattle Seahawks in the divisional playoff games because I thought the Seattle was a shell of itself based on what we had known them to be in years past. I was of the mentality that as I looked at them, I said to myself about these Falcons, look, Green Bay wasn't what we thought they would be. That wasn't the case. Green Bay wasn't that team. Seattle wasn't that team. Who did Russell Wilson have? Beast mode was gone. What kind of running game did you have? Christian Michael, you going to get me started? Are you kidding me? I wasn't going for that. You look at a team like Atlanta, you're saying to yourself, excuse me, you're going up against the Green Bay Packers in the NFC Championship game. Jordy Nelson was hurt, even though he was still out there. Randall Cobb is a number 2. But your number 1 was compromised. That put more pressure on Randall Cobb. Geronimo Allison, are you kidding me? Am I supposed to think he's going to make a big difference? What about Richard Rodgers? Your running game is augmented by a wide receiver because Eddie Lacy was injured and couldn't get it and couldn't play. The Green Bay Packers in their secondary might have been the worst. Bunch of third stringers running around. Basically CFLers or Arena Football League dudes disguised as NFL guys. That was what Green Bay secondary was. And so when you look at it from that standpoint, and you look at the Atlanta Falcons, you have to say to yourself, excuse me, why should I really, really respect or fear this team? They were 11-5 this year. I saw them during the regular season get literally smacked around by the Philadelphia Eagles. That was November 13th when they lost 24-15. But they got punked that game, lost to Kansas City in a close game on December 4th. But then they won the rest of their regular season games. Ladies and gentlemen, it was against the Los Angeles Rams, it was against the San Francisco 49ers, it was against the Carolina Panthers, and it was against the New Orleans Saints. And then, of course, Seattle isn't what they used to be. Green Bay wasn't what they customarily are known to be due to injuries. So essentially, since December 4th, who have the Falcons really gone against? Now, that's not their problem, and I totally understand that, and I'm not trying to take any credit away from what they accomplished. I'm simply saying this high-powered offense, led by Matt Ryan, a league MVP candidate, probably going to be going to win the league MVP award. And you got a stud like Julio Jones. And you got backups like Mohamed Sanu as your number 2 receiver and Taylor Gabriel as your slot receiver. And you got Devontae Freeman and Tevin Coleman coming out of the backfield, catching passes out of the backfield, being north and south runners when they're running the football. Some would argue we haven't seen a balanced attack like this. In terms of an offense, we haven't seen a balanced attack like this in ages. My response is simple. How are you going to stop New England? Who's in your secondary? Are you going to just rely on Vic Beasley to get to Tom Brady, along with the White Freeney or Adrian Clayton or one of these boys? What is it exactly that you're going to do? Keanu Neal and Ricardo Allen and those boys, are they going to be able to get it done for you when it really, really counts? I don't know the answer to that question. And that's what makes this Super Bowl interesting. 866-729-ESPN is the number to call up. That's 866-729-3776. That's one thing I wanted to get into. The other thing I wanted to get into, right here, right now, so we're clear, is this whole LeBron James, Charles Barkley situation. Now, I wasn't on the air to talk to you about it yesterday because I was traveling to Super Bowl 51, I'm sorry. That's what I was doing. But we all know that LeBron James went off on Charles Barkley, bringing up debts accrued in Las Vegas, spitting on a kid, throwing somebody through a window, all of this other stuff because Charles Barkley called him out about his game. He said, "What, you only want to play when you're the favorites?" Basically questioning his competitive fervor. That's what Barkley was doing. Here's my response to all of it. Since I know both, especially Barkley, and I'm very, very dear friends with Barkley, love him. Not so much with LeBron. Don't have that kind of relationship with LeBron. Don't care to. But let me say this. I respect the hell out of LeBron James. He's an incredible role model. A good dude. A champion 3 times over, which is 3 times more titles than than Barkley has. He's been to 7 NBA Finals, 6 more than Barkley has. His resume is on another level than that of Charles Barkley. So when Charles Barkley was so critical of him and questioning his competitive fervor, I had absolutely, positively no problem with LeBron James coming to his own defense and saying, "Hey, who the hell you think you're talking to? Do you know who I am? I'm not going to take this from you anymore." I don't have a problem with LeBron saying that. And he could have attacked Charles Barkley all day long on Charles Barkley's basketball resume because as great as it is, it doesn't compare to LeBron's. But LeBron went too far. LeBron went entirely too far. And he was wrong to say what he said about Barkley. I'm not going to let him disrespect my legacy like that. Nothing wrong with that quote from LeBron. But how about this? I'm not the one who threw somebody through a window. I never spit on a kid. I never had an unpaid debt in Las Vegas. Really? You got to go there? You got to get personal? LeBron James is so lucky that Charles Barkley decided not to get personal with him. Because I don't give a damn who you are. We all have flaws. We all have skeletons in our closet. We all want certain things to never be spoken of. Not that it's going to make or break us, especially with somebody like me who can give less than a damn most of the time. But for the most part, you don't want somebody to get personal with you. But that's what LeBron James did to Charles Barkley. And if Charles Barkley wanted to, he could have reciprocated. He could have retaliated. He could have gotten very, very personal. And yet instead he took the high road. I have no problem with LeBron coming to his own defense. He was right to do so. And he should have addressed Barkley with what Barkley was saying about him. He's absolutely right. I only have a problem with the specifics about the throwing somebody through a window, about the spitting on the kid, about the unpaid debt in Las Vegas. That's kind of low. Especially for LeBron, who didn't even have to go there to make his point. Regardless of what Dwayne Wade and Melo and everybody else says, LeBron went a little bit too far. That's all I'm trying to say. The personal stuff was not necessary. 866-729 ESPN is the number to call up. That's 866-729-3776. The biggest medical center on earth isn't found on the East Coast or the West Coast. It's found in Houston, Texas, America's third coast. Houston is home to the Texas Medical Center, or TMC, that is. It's the largest medical center, or the largest medical city on the planet. Each year, the TMC's 21 hospitals serve over 8 million patients. Its 3 medical schools and 6 nursing schools educate tomorrow's medical leaders. More doctors, nurses, and scientists work at the TMC than than any other site in the world. With over 100,000 employees, it's the 8th largest business district in America. Every 3 minutes, a surgery begins at the TMC. Every 20 minutes, a baby is born. The Texas Medical Center leads the world in clinical research. TMC doctors and scientists are at the forefront of life-saving medical advances, developing new treatments, drugs, and devices to improve the health of humanity. So find out more about the innovations happening at the Texas Medical Center at tmc.edu. You're listening live to the Stephen A. Smith Show on ESPN Radio, the one and only NFL executive insider extraordinaire, Louis Riddick for ESPN. He's live up next with yours truly right here on the Stephen A. Smith Show, ESPN MVP. I'm going to interview him a little bit later on today, so I might have to leave the show a little bit early because he's waiting for me at the Toyota Center, and I'm going to interview him. With all the interviews he did, guess what he's demanded that he does with me, y'all? I'm not interviewing him unless he gets me on the court one-on-one. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to announce to the world that yours truly, Stephen A. Smith, don't ever say I'm not humble, because we all know I'm going to get embarrassed. We all know that I'm going to get annihilated, but I am going to subject myself to that level of humiliation, probably on camera, all because I'm that kind of guy, and James Harden is that great. I have no shot in hell of competing against him. But if he plays me in a game of horse, I kind of think my jump shot got a chance. I got to think my jump shot got a chance. That's point number one. Point number two, on another note. Actually, I'm not going to bring that up right now. I'll surprise y'all with something like that later. Let me go to the phones at 866-729-ESPN. Let's go to Rick/Skip, my boy in D.C. You're live with Stephen A. on ESPN Radio. What's up, big baby? I mean, I put an APB out on you. I sent the cops looking for you. Rick is a Cowboys fan, so I couldn't find him in the last few weeks or so. Rick was nowhere to be found, ladies and gentlemen. But now here he is. It's nice that you showed up. What's up, bro?
I'll tell you what, man. You know, they just let me out of the hospital, man. I've been on suicide watch probably since we lost, man.
That's
right.
That's right.
You know, I'm just getting my health back. So I just wanted to call you. I wanted this to be my first call I made.
Wait a minute.
Tell you was right. You know, we suck right now.
Stop, Rick. I'm sorry. I need you to get closer to the phones. I need my listeners to hear you say that I was right. What was I, Rick?
It just hurt my heart. It hurt my heart.
No, you said I was right?
Yeah, you was right. You was right.
Right about what?
Yeah,
Rick?
you was right.
Right about what? That's not good enough, Rick. Right about what? Right about what?
We are accident waiting to happen. We ain't won a playoff game in 25 years.
That's right.
Yeah, you was right. You making me say it. Okay, right. Stephen A., you won it. You won.
Thank you. Now, Rick, I want you to soak it up. I'm not going to talk to you anymore. I want you to call back tomorrow when I got more time for you. And you can call back and elaborate more extensively on why the Cowboys stink, that they're an accident waiting to happen, that I hope the hospitals were filled with dudes on suicide watch because they lost. Obviously, I'm playing when I say that because we're just talking football here. But you know what I'm saying. I want you to soak on that for another 24 hours, Rick. I will talk to you tomorrow. To the phones we go. Back to the phones. Let's go to Kevin in New Jersey. You're live with Stephen A. on ESPN Radio. What's up, Kev? Talk to me.
Hey, Stephen A., good afternoon. How are you, man?
I'm doing great. Talk to me.
Listen, man, I'm with Charles Barkley 100%, man. LeBron definitely crossed the line. And in my opinion, and everybody's entitled to their opinion, Stephen A., LeBron has always been the big baby, man. And that's all I wanted to say. Hey,
well, listen, I will say this to you, Kevin. LeBron, I stand by that. Listen, he was absolutely right to come to his own defense because anytime somebody wants to criticize him, he has a right to defend himself. He knows what work he's put in. He knows what commitment he's made. He knows what sacrifices he's made. He knows all of these different things. My only issue was there's plenty of things to attack Charles Barkley about as it pertains to basketball. Why did you have to get personal? You didn't have to go there. That's the problem with that. And by the way, here's where LeBron didn't tell the truth. LeBron says he knows my schedule. He can come up to me anytime. That's actually not true. LeBron is incredibly insulated. You don't just walk up to LeBron and talk. There's always people around him. There's always layers that you have to go through. And he says very little in his own defense, but then he wants to come out and talk about what folks don't know. But he doesn't do much in the way to educate you about what the truth is, according to him. He really, really doesn't. That much is not, he's not honest about that part. But he was right to come at Barkley. He just shouldn't have gotten so personal. And we all know that LeBron is a great guy and a great champion and a great role model. But he was a bit sensitive. No doubt about it. Let's go to Everett in South Carolina. You're live with Stephen A. on ESPN Radio. Everett, what's up?
Hey, how you doing today, my friend?
I'm good. Talk to me.
Look, what is it about modern-day athletes and old-school athletes that can't get along? I've always wondered why older athletes always wanted to continue to stay into the scene from what's happening with the modern-day athletes. Now, believe me, I love Charles Barkley. He's my man. I love what he stood for on the basketball court. I love LeBron James. I love what he stands for. But why do we have to get to one another where we're taking cheap shots at one another?
Well,
I don't like that.
Well, I certainly don't. I certainly don't like it. I call it an element of black-on-black crime, to be quite honest with you. But I will tell you this. If you want to really know what this is all about, it's about two things. It's about the money, and it's about Joe Public. And here's what I mean by that. When you talk about old-school athletes to the modern-day athlete, you want me to tell you who to blame for all of that? Us. Because once upon a time, we mandated that you needed to be a champion in order to get the level of shine some of these dudes have. But now, because we buy stuff hook, line, and sinker, and we don't require championship cachet in order for these dudes to have the influence and beyond that they have, as a result, they're able to get $300 million deals when they haven't won anything. They're able to get 9-figure contracts when they haven't won anything. They're able to do all of these things. And the old school dudes were taught differently. They were taught you had to accomplish these things in order to get to that point. If you don't get to that point, you can't get X, Y, and Z. You can't get that level of shine. That's not what we do with each other in this day and time, and that's the problem, Everett, to answer your question directly.
I tell you what, Stephen, I really appreciate you. I enjoy listening to you. A lot of people, kind of slam you and talk negative about you.
Oh, please, man, I don't care about that, Everett.
You speak the truth.
All of those people can kick rocks. I don't give a damn what they got to say about me. I'm not in the friendship business. I'm in the business of calling it like I see it. I'm not going to get personal. I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but I am going to be honest. It's what I get paid to do, and I got nearly a quarter century of journalistic credentials to back up what the hell I say. I don't worry about it, and neither should you, my brother. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Continue to support the show. I really, really appreciate it. 866-729-ESPN. That's 866-729-3776. Three-time Super Bowl champion. The one and only Bill Romanowski. I always see him during Super Bowl week. I knew he's going to be here now. I'm about to have him on next with yours truly, the Stephen A. Smith Show on ESPN Radio. Oh, my goodness. Now, see, first of all, understand something. I'm an energetic dude, okay? I'm an energetic dude. I'm a self-motivator. I don't need but so much help to motivate me, to get me excited. I love doing the Stephen A. Smith Show on ESPN Radio. I'm live from Houston, Radio Row, home of the Texas Medical Center, home of the world's largest medical center, dedicated to improving the health and wellness of the world. All of these things are very, very relevant. But it's not just because of me. It's not just because I feel like I'm looking good. It's because of my next guest. He's a 4-time champion and somebody who never, ever hesitates to give me advice on good health. But again, he's a 4-time Super Bowl champion, 2 with the San Francisco 49ers, 2 with the Denver Broncos. And by the way, every single time he's been on my show, he's predicted correctly who would win the Super Bowl. I'm talking about the one and only Bill Romanowski, right here with yours truly on ESPN Radio. What's going on, big time? How you doing?
Doing good. Great to be on.
What's going on? I mean, the lovely lady here gave me the Smoothie King and all of the. What you got going now?
That is the
what
least.
You got going
that's
now?
the Lean One smoothie at Smoothie King.
Okay.
That's Nutrition 53s.
Okay.
That's my company.
Right.
And it's the number one smoothie sold. It's a fat-burning meal replacement smoothie that you can lose up to a pound of body fat a day.
Now, how do you get access to this? Because you know me, I'm going to use it. I mean, I got my girl J.J. Smith with her green smoothies. I had on the show once before. She got a best-selling book. But you, with this stuff right here, this stuff works too.
Yeah,
I mean, you got to tell the audience how to get this.
Well, we got in 2011.
Right.
And within 2 weeks of being in the Smoothie King system, they have this whole thing with Change a Meal Challenge right now going on. And literally, we were the number one smoothie sold in their system. So it's been a great partnership for about 6-7 years. And now my whole thing, Stephen, I want to change the world. And how do you do that? What is the biggest challenge?
Health.
Right now, health and wellness. And 72% of our society is either overweight or obese. 72.
You know what?
In the next 10 years, it's going to be in the 90s.
But this is the one thing that I got to get on you about, because you don't bring this up enough. You're not lazy.
No.
You work out
Every day.
So what I'm saying to you is this: there's a lot of people, like, again, with your health drinks, with things that other people try to do, it sort of gives the impression that if you just do this, you'll be just fine. But that's not how you live. You work out?
No. Every day. I don't miss a day.
So what do you tell people out there? What should they be doing to acquire health and wellness?
Well, what I do is, what this is a supplement. Lean One is a supplement. So it's a kickstart. Start it out, and all of a sudden you're going to start with, in 200 calories, 20 grams of protein, 17 fruit and vegetable extracts, 10 grams of fiber, and green coffee bean extract that speeds up your metabolism in a healthy way. And that's a kickstart. It gets you going towards, and all of a sudden you start seeing results. All of a sudden, hey, I don't think, depending on where you are, you're not going to see abs in a couple days, but I tell you what, you stick with it for a month, 2, 3, 6 months, they're going to start popping out.
I mean, I'm Stephen A. I am who I am, so I don't want to sound any different. But I have to admit, me working out, getting myself in a better shape, I felt very good. I felt very proud when Bill Romanowski told me I was looking good. I felt very proud. I felt very proud.
No, there's a difference. You know where I first noticed it? I noticed it in your face.
Yeah.
Your face looks leaner. You look better.
I'm trying.
And you know what? You feel better. I guarantee you.
I will say that. I do feel better. The one and only Bill Romanowski, 4-time Super Bowl champion, right here live from Radio Row with yours truly, Stephen A. Let's get into this game. Who you got?
Who do I got?
Give it to me, Bill. Don't you hold out on me.
If I'm a betting man.
That's right.
I'm betting on the New England Patriots.
Okay, why?
Tom Brady. Hey, here's how I do it. I look at the two quarterbacks, and I did it. I do it every year, and what I do is, you're going to look at Matt Ryan, who has played well under Kyle Shanahan, and he's played exceptionally well the second half of the season going into the playoffs. But they're taking on one of the most dominant teams for the last 16 years. Mm-hmm. That energy, what it is. I look at Tom Brady when he walks out on that field. Mm-hmm. He just got it. And if I have to bet, I'm going to bet that they're going to be 3 points better. But I do believe this, that I think Atlanta may have more talent on offense. Mm-hmm. And I think they definitely do. And on defense, hey, they're young. They're young, but that can be all right. Because as you said, I think they're going to hit him in the mouth.
I can't believe what I'm saying. I'm hearing from Bill Romanowski. You're hedging. You're undecided, Bill.
No.
You don't feel confident.
I said if I'm a betting man, I'm betting on New England. I don't bet.
I understand, but I've never heard you hedge like this before. If I'm a betting man, I'm going to pick New England. Hey. But Atlanta's offense is good, and their defense will hit you in the mouth, which you can appreciate because that's what you used to do. But come on, Bill. You don't seem definitive. What's got you worried about Tom Brady most?
You know what has me?
Give it up.
Hey, at the end of the day, I like underdogs. I've been an underdog my whole life. And because of that, I always root for underdogs. And somehow, some way, if Atlanta plays the best game of their life, if Matt Ryan is the MVP of that game, then they'll win the game.
You're getting emotional. What is this?
I can't help it.
What is this? I mean, a 4-time Super Bowl champion who wanted to punch people in the face every chance he got. All of a sudden, you got so when you've been watching Dr. Phil or something. What's happened to you, Bill Romanowski? What has happened to you?
Yeah, I can't help it.
These daggone smoothie drinks. This is what's happening to you. You're feeling good and better, feeling vibrant about life. Is that what's going on?
That is true.
Okay, we can live with that. But let me ask you this. I think about Tom Brady.
Yep.
And I wonder, what level of motivation do you think Roger Goodell is going to be to Tom Brady? And this, everybody's saying he ain't thinking about it. What are your thoughts?
Bull crap. Okay, for literally those 4 games that he sat out, the fire in his belly. Yeah, I was a fiery guy, but this guy picked it up a notch. And I guarantee you, when he hands him the trophy, I would like to hear what he really thinks about Roger Goodell, because there's a part of me that would say, he's going to say, hey, Roger, this one's for you.
Bill Romanowski right here with Stephen A. on ESPN Radio. I look at Atlanta, and I'm kind of wondering how the hell you going to stop these guys. You got Julio Jones. Mohamed Sanu and Taylor Gabriel are no joke. The offensive line has been protecting Matt Ryan relatively decently. And then you got dual threats out of the backfield in Freeman and Coleman, who not only run north-south, but they can catch passes out of the backfield.
They catch a lot of them.
A lot of them. I'm very, very worried. I don't know how New England is going to defend these guys.
Well, you know
how would you defend them?
You know what they're going to do.
I'm asking you.
They're doubling Julio Jones.
Okay.
You know that.
Yes.
They're starting there. Now, how well does the rest of the team play? That's what it's going to come down to. Because they're going to take him, they're going to try to take him out of the game. But you know what? I think with the way the refs call games in the playoffs, in the Super Bowl, I think he's going to be so dominant, he'll be able to beat a double team. And that's why, you say I'm kind of wavering.
You're hedging. You're wavering. This is unbelievable.
You know what?
Bill Romanowski, the hedger. I mean, what is going on?
Because my heart is wanting, these Atlanta Falcons to step up. It's David against Goliath. That's what it is.
I don't look at New England as Goliaths in this. And by the way, this is a point you haven't brought up about Atlanta. Atlanta ends the season winning 4 straight. The Los Angeles Rams, the San Francisco 49ers, a different Carolina Panthers team than last year. And, of course, I forgot their season finale. That New Orleans Saints, I'm sorry. That's who they beat. And then Seattle was depleted. You played them in a postseason divisional game. And then the Packers, we know how Aaron Rodgers was decimated with injuries. You beat them in the NFC Championship game. So as far as I'm concerned, the Atlanta Falcons have gotten a 6-week reprieve. That doesn't factor into the equation at all?
I think it factors in, but at the end of the day, it's all about, hey, they both know each other really well. They've been studying the tape. Now it's do your big-time players. I always look at this. You got to have 4 superstars to win games. You have to have 5 or 6 to get to the Super Bowl. They have them, both teams. Which ones play the best Sunday? And if Atlanta's guys play the absolute best and Matt Ryan plays the game of his life, they will win the Super Bowl and put a ring on their finger.
So New England's, your heart's with New England.
My betting.
You're betting.
My betting. If I was a betting man.
But your heart is with Atlanta.
My heart is with Atlanta. They're the underdog.
By the way, did you feel this way when Brady lost to Eli Manning twice?
Oh, yeah.
Did you feel this way when they lucked up and Pete Carroll?
Here's why I called it. I called that because of Tom Coughlin. I think Tom Coughlin is one of the best football coaches on the planet.
Wow. I appreciate you, buddy. Always great seeing you. The Smoothie King?
Oh,
tell us again about
Smoothie King. It's Change a Meal Challenge with Lean One, which is a fat-burning meal replacement. You can also go to Nutrition 53. For you, we got 50% off all my products.
I feel so special.
Hey, lose a pound of body fat a day.
I don't need to lose pounds, but I do need it to get harder and tighter. You know what I'm saying?
That'll make you harder and tighter.
I got you.
Watch out. And it tastes good.
All right. I'll remember that.
Okay.
The great Bill Romanowski right here with Stephen A. on ESPN Radio. 866-729-ESPN. That's 866-729-3776. 4-time Super Bowl champion. Keep remembering that, okay? If you don't remember anything else, remember the fact that the man knows a thing or two about winning titles. which is something that cannot be said about most. Back with your calls and more in a minute with Stephen A. Phone calls right here on the Stephen A. Smith Show on ESPN Radio. Let me say this. The biggest medical center on earth isn't found on the East Coast or the West Coast. It's found right here in Houston, Texas, America's third coast. Houston is home to the Texas Medical Center, or what they call TMC. It's the largest medical city on the planet. Each year, the TMC's 21 hospitals serve over 8 million patients. Its 3 medical schools and 6 nursing schools educate tomorrow's medical leaders. More doctors, nurses, and scientists work at the TMC than any other site in the world. With over 100,000 employees, it's the 8th largest business district in America. Every 3 minutes, a surgery begins at the TMC. Every 20 minutes, a baby is born. The Texas Medical Center leads the world in clinical research. TMC doctors and scientists are at the forefront of life-saving medical advances, developing new treatments, drugs, and devices to improve the health of humanity. Find out more about the innovations happening at the Texas Medical Center at tmc.edu. Just so you know, somebody will be filling in for me for hour number 2. Even though I'm at Super Bowl week here covering the Super Bowl, I have an interview with Houston Rockets superstar James Harden, who, as far as I'm concerned, should be a league leader for league MVP honors. Not only am I interviewing him, but whether it's a shooting contest or a one-on-one matchup, he has me playing against him in the next hour. So he's waiting for me at the Toyota Center, and that's where I've got to run. But I still got time for a few phone calls before I get on out of here. Let me go to Swerve in New York. You're live with Stephen A. on ESPN Radio. What's up, Swerve?
What's going on, Stephen A? First off, I want to say welcome back to the airwaves in New York, man.
Thank you.
Very pleasing to the ears.
Go ahead, bro.
You know, but I wanted to, and I know you're gonna come at me for this, but I wanted to disagree with you on this whole Charles Barkley, LeBron James thing.
Okay.
Charles been talking slick out the mouth, and he questioned LeBron's heart and his integrity. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of personal. Mm-hmm. Now, LeBron, he's not that type of dude that's going to come back. But if you're going to throw shots, you got to shoot a whole clip, especially at Barkley. And I blame you a little bit for this, because if Barkley is really your boy, you should have checked him.
First of all, you're wrong and misinformed there. Here's why. I have told Barkley he was wrong. I have told Barkley, but he was wrong with Michael Jordan, because he did the same thing to Michael Jordan, which is why he and Michael Jordan don't speak right now. Both myself and Kenny Smith have been on the record telling Charles Barkley, who we love, that he owes MJ an apology. Barkley said never. With LeBron James, I thought that, some of his criticism wasn't necessarily warranted. He disagrees. But whenever you say, Swerve, here's how you're really, really wrong. Everything Barkley said was about basketball. Even if it was personal, when you're talking about how he don't want to compete. Why did you say that? You said that because he said he prefaced his comment by saying, damn, you got to be the favorite at everything? So he was talking about basketball. That ain't got anything to do with gambling debts in Vegas, or spitting on somebody, or throwing somebody through a window and all of that other stuff. He's talking about LeBron James, the basketball player. And LeBron's resume far exceeds that of Barkley. So why did you have to go there? That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, but I think it's LeBron. LeBron is he's basketball, dude. I mean, we've watched him since he was a kid. You know what I'm saying?
Again, bro, that doesn't negate the fact that the subject was basketball. You got all the ammunition in the world to attack Barkley as basketball credentials if you're LeBron James. You have all the ammunition in the world. You didn't have to go there, because once you go there, what if Barkley came out and started talking about LeBron personally? We don't know what's in LeBron's closet. You really want to go there? Those are the kind of things you got to ask yourself. But call me back tomorrow when I've got more time, man. I appreciate the call. Let's go to Cliff in New Jersey. You're live with Stephen A. on ESPN Radio. Cliff, go ahead real quick.
Hey, how you doing? Thank you. I appreciate you taking my phone call. I've been an Atlanta Falcons fan for a very long time, through the worst of times, through the best of times. But, you go and say about the last couple of games, or you're also forgetting that they did beat Green Bay earlier this year. They should have beat the Seahawks earlier this year, that ridiculous call. They beat the Raiders. So there's definitely teams that they beat. So
well, Atlanta has beaten quality teams, but I was talking about over the last 6 weeks. They won 11-5. We know they're legitimate. We know their offense is high-powered. We also know they got smacked around by the Philadelphia Eagles in December as well, and they've had a relatively soft schedule to end the season. All I'm saying is that you have to take those things into consideration when you consider and remember the fact that they are scheduled to go up against Tom Brady. When you're going up against Tom Brady, I need to look at your resume and see what quality individuals you went against who are comparable to New England. And there is none. So we shall see. Hour number 2 up next, right here.